Hello again. This is Amy Glassmeyer. The last time you saw me was at the very beginning of our event. For all of us, I would like to thank all of you for attending our 1 week long exploration of achieving greater equality by 2050. This theme has been a remarkable experience for all of us who have been a part of it. It's been a team experience that has allowed us, a group of us, to become better friends and also to be passionate believers in the work that each one of us do. The week has been filled with amazing conversations touching the four corners of the earth and the boundaries of our nation. We have heard about how cities are making themselves more inclusive. And that's a tough thing to be able to do because America's urban geography is essentially segregated, and it has been that way for almost 80 years. And so listening to the talks and recognizing that it's going to take work in order to bring our cities to a point of greater inclusivity was a fascinating exploration of the kinds of investments that will be needed in the future to make everyone have access to opportunity, safe housing, water, and other resources. We also had some fascinating book talks that focused on housing, data, and how data can be used to understand questions of equality more effectively. We heard about rights to the city, that is, who belongs and how do they belong, and how do we enable everyone to belong and feel more accommodated in the communities that they're from. We also heard about a book that asked the question of who owns the wind and also who owns the streets. And the books really point out the fact that there's all these hidden sources of inequality, that as we become knowledgeable about them, we also have the opportunity to make adjustments in them. Our keynotes were incredibly powerful conversations about everything from commitments on the part of America's largest corporations to diversify their workforces and by creating pathways to education, to training, and to jobs with occupational mobility. We also heard about the use of remote sensing and technology to help decision makers protect the environment. And that's particularly of interest in light of the fact that we are not only dealing with questions of equality, but we're also dealing with questions of climate change. And so that kind of technology is really critical in us solving the problems of such things as burning the forests in the Amazon. We experienced a truly memorable discussion presented by Reverend William Barber, who is one of America's leading religious leaders, focusing on those who have been left behind and those who need us to push for greater equity. We heard from a panel of African-American economists who urged us to talk about higher education and to increase higher education access, to recognize the need for reparations if we are ever really going to make adjustments in the distribution of wealth and prosperity. We also heard from the economists the importance of college students needing to engage in issues related to inequality, to sort of get their nose out of their cell phone and start listening to some of the conversations that are taking place in the world today and understand their role in helping to change the consequences that we currently face. And then finally, the conversations that occurred around climate change and sea level rise really bring home the fact that the problems of inequality cannot be solved by one nation alone, cannot be solved by one government alone, cannot be solved by one technology alone. It really will require the integration of all of those things and more for us to truly make a dent on the world's greatest pressing issue, which is growing inequality on a worldwide basis. If you've been watching throughout the week, you no doubt know that the many challenges that we have identified are ones that you as members of society can take up and to begin to participate and trying to remediate them. We can all work harder on advocating policies to preserve the environment. We can all work on policies and where we work and ensure that people are making living wages. We can all work on issues that allow individuals to have access to the resources they need to thrive. So thank you for watching our event. It's been an amazing 2 years, and we have had tremendous discussions amongst ourselves. And we really want to thank our staff for all the hard work that they undertook during what is probably the most difficult time the nation has faced, maybe since the Second World War. So despite COVID, we've had thousands of people tune in and watch our event. We wish to thank you and have safe and healthy holidays.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for your dedication to Geography 2050, this important multi-year strategic dialogue. Your work in bringing this year's symposium to life, Geography 2050 toward a more equitable future, has been instrumental to our success. I'd also like to thank our program committee, including Mr. Kenan Fikri, Ms. Andrea D'Amato, Dr. Robin Lachenko, Dr. Dee Jordan, Dr. Joe Wood, AGS President Dr. Marie Price, and AGS CEO Dr. John Konarski. Each one of our program committee members have played an important role in shaping this year's symposium, recruiting the talented thinkers, policymakers, and innovators that you've heard from this week. I am in all of your debt. I would like to thank our longtime partners, Columbia Earth Institute, the Fund for the City of New York, the Open Geospatial Consortium, and the U.S. Geospatial Intelligence Foundation for their support in making Geography 2050 a success. I would like to thank our sponsors. Again, without their financial support, there is no way we would have been able to produce this important conversation and the content that you now can share with your friends, neighbors, colleagues, your students, and fellow teachers off into the future. By name, I would like to thank ESRI, the Economic Innovation Group, the American Association of Geographers, National Geographic, Black Cape, and Alliance Bernstein. And now over to my colleague, Dr. Marie Price.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks so much for your leadership. And thank everyone who put in so much time and effort to make this such an exciting and inspiring event. I know you probably all have your favorite talks, heard new ideas, discovered new organizations, and learned about new approaches toward building a more equitable future. Remember, the talks will be stored in our video vault for you to return to and share from the Geography 2050 website, as Chris mentioned. To our AP Geography teachers, I hope you enjoyed this year's symposium. We certainly hope to be back in person next year with you in New York City. I also want to remind you about the AP Geography workshop tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. See you there. AGS is fortunate to have our group of corporate angels. These are companies that directly support our teachers and geographic education program with a $2,000 annual gift. The companies listed on the slide have been champions of our efforts, and we are so grateful to them. We invite other companies who think spatially, work with geospatial data, and care about the future of geography and our planet to join our ranks and become an AGS corporate angel. Lastly, I want to acknowledge the technical talents of Adam Simmons and Project Geospatial. This is the second year that Adam has led our virtual symposium technology. We couldn't do it without you, Adam, and we look forward to working with you on future projects. And now back to Chris Tucker, who will share a final farewell and introduce next year's symposium topic. Take it away, Chris.
Thanks, Marie. But first, if you enjoyed this Geography 2050 program, please consider donating. While this event was free to you and your colleagues and your students and your fellow teachers, it actually required a considerable amount of resources to make all of this happen. Your financial support would be greatly appreciated. And last, next year's theme. Save the date for November 14th through 18th of 2022, where our focus will be on food. How will we feed our future global population? What will food security look like? What about food deserts, food and climate change, the sustainability of food? food and global supply chains, the impact of indoor farming, meatless meats, the enormous number of equity issues surrounding the topic of food. The horizons on this issue are vast, and the future is coming fast. We invite all of you to reach out to us with your ideas and for you to help shape next year's program. Thanks again for participating in this year's symposium, and we look forward to seeing you a year from now. Until next year, be safe and well. Thank you.